Right now, somewhere in the world, a stadium is roaring. 11 people chase a ball. Thousands of strangers scream in unison. Grown adults cry over a piece of leather crossing a white line. It looks modern. Sponsored jerseys, giant screens, billion-dollar broadcasts. But what if the World Cup isn't modern at all? What if you're watching something almost as old as humanity itself, just wearing better shoes? Because long before anyone kicked a ball for money, your ancestors were already doing something remarkably similar. And the reason why reveals something strange about why you can't look away from a match right now. Anthropologists have found evidence of ball games stretching back thousands of years, long before anything resembling modern sport existed. The ancient Mesoamericans played a ritual ball game called ulama, using a solid rubber ball, sometimes weighing as much as 9 pounds. Archaeologists have uncovered ball courts across Mexico and Central America, dating back over 3,000 years. Some historians believe the losing team, in certain versions of the game, paid with their lives. That's not football, but the shape of it should feel familiar. Two teams, a ball, a crowd watching, invested, emotionally consumed by the outcome. Why would ancient societies with no leagues, no television, no reason to care, build entire cities around a game? Evolutionary anthropologist Robin Dunbar has spent decades studying why humans evolved to live in groups, and his research points to something called social bonding through shared activity. Early humans who could coordinate as a group, hunting together, defending territory together, celebrating together, survived better than those who acted alone. Team-based activities weren't entertainment, they were training. A low-stakes way to practice trust, coordination, and loyalty before your life depended on it. In other words, watching 11 people move as one coordinated unit toward a shared goal isn't a modern invention. It's your brain recognizing something ancient, something it evolved specifically to find meaningful. But there's a deeper layer to why the World Cup specifically hits differently than a regular match. Psychologist Henri Tajfel developed what's known as social identity theory in the 1970s, and his research revealed something uncomfortable about how quickly humans form group loyalty. In one famous experiment, Tajfel randomly divided participants into groups based on something as meaningless as a coin flip. Within minutes, people began favoring their own group and treating the other group with subtle hostility, even though the groups were entirely arbitrary and everyone knew it. Now scale that up to something as significant as national identity. A team wearing your country's colors isn't arbitrary at all. It's wrapped in language, history, family, childhood memory, and everything you've ever been told about who your people are. When that team wins, something happens inside your brain that goes beyond simple happiness. Neuroscientist Paul Zak has studied the biological response to group victories, and his research shows measurable spikes in oxytocin, the same hormone associated with bonding between parents and children, and between romantic partners. When your team scores, your brain releases some of the same chemistry involved in falling in love or holding your own newborn. This is why a goal in the 89th minute can make a grown man cry in front of strangers. His brain isn't just registering a sports outcome, it's registering belonging. And when your team loses, the opposite response kicks in. Researchers studying sports fandom have found that fans experience genuine grief responses after major losses, activating brain regions associated with physical pain and emotional loss, similar to the neural response after a breakup or the death of a loved one. Which explains something that seems irrational on the surface. Why would losing a game you didn't even play in feel like losing someone? Because as far as your brain is concerned, on some level, you didn't just watch your team. You were your team. Their victory was your ancestors surviving the hunt. Their loss was your tribe losing the fight. This is also why the crowd itself matters so much. Anthropologist Emil Durkheim described something he called collective effervescence, the intense emotional energy that emerges specifically when large groups gather and synchronize their emotions together. A goal celebrated alone in your living room feels good. A goal celebrated inside a stadium of 80,000 screaming strangers feels transcendent, because your brain briefly experiences something ancient, total, unified belonging to something larger than yourself. Modern anthropologists studying sport have noted that stadiums function almost exactly like ancient ritual sites. Synchronized chanting, shared colors, collective grief and joy experienced simultaneously by thousands of people who will never meet each other, yet feel for 90 minutes completely connected. So, when the World Cup returns and you find yourself irrationally invested in the outcome of grown men kicking a ball across grass, understand what's actually happening. You're not just watching a game, you're participating in one of the oldest rituals your species has ever practiced. A tribe, a shared goal, a collective heartbeat rising and falling with every pass. The stadium changed, the stakes changed, the uniforms changed. But underneath all of it, you're still the same creature your ancestors were 3,000 years ago, standing at the edge of a ball court, screaming for your side to win.